Hey guys, want to shoot a quick video of the Gen 5. Pretty detailed day today. It's probably difficult to see exactly what all was accomplished, but I'll run through a few things here. I tell you what, let me do this. Let me start from the beginning of the day and what I dealt with. I can't really see it, but if I start up here, I'll have it in the front of my mind. I won't forget. This this lower hose. This is typical on marine power. This lower hose right here, and I'm going to move my finger out of the way. See how the deal belts travel in between the oil cooler, lower hose, the incoming water, and then it goes into the raw water pump, and then goes into the heat exchanger. Where I'm going with this is I mean, it's okay from an engineering standpoint, but it's real sensitive in the back, and somebody had lost the bracket. There's about a 3.5-4 inch long bracket in the back that mounts to the engine mount, drops down, catches a ring around the oil cooler, and holds that oil cooler on about a 5-degree pitch, and it always clears these hoses. Well, long story short, I discovered yesterday that I thought it was broken, rusted in two, but it was just missing. And then I got to looking around, and just by pure luck found the actual bracket down in the bottom of the bilge, and even found the bolt. Couldn't find the nut, but anyway, long story short, found the parts where someone had attempted to install it in the past, dropped it, got pissed off probably, and just walked away. And where I'm going with this is that oil cooler was falling and putting a really nasty kink in this line, in this hose, and then it was also almost touching this. Now, I built two marine powers about a year ago, and the hose on the bottom there had two little marks where it had come in contact with that. So it's a good design when it's engineered properly, but it's a pain in the ass if the parts aren't identical to what marine power designed. Okay, so on that note, the raw water pump, I don't know if I discussed this yesterday, but I rebuilt the raw. I didn't. So after yesterday's video, I went through the pulleys, cleaned them, and primed them and painted them, and then got them installed late in the afternoon, and then rebuilt the raw water pump, a minor kit, just an impeller. So all that's mounted on there, and enough conversation about that. The front end, got all the hoses reinstalled, and there's about 4 gallons of coolant in there. We're gonna need about a gallon of coolant. It's a little bit low still. It didn't come to the top. I don't know how much we're missing, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to capture this, but I got it's in there. One of the oil temp sending unit, and then the oil alarm, I'm sorry, that's the coolant temperature sensor, and then the coolant alarm on the top there. Got the plugs in, got the distributors set. Rotors on, new distributor in place. Opened up the spark plug wire box, and the frickin' spark plug wires is they're for a 4-cylinder. It's a set of a 15-402 set. My marine supplier gave me the wrong damn set, so just typical shit. So anyway, I can't, and they're closed on the weekend, so I won't be able to get that till Monday. Also, on that note, before I forget, we got a 60% chance of rain tomorrow. Not going to work on it tomorrow. Also, I got 2 different visits from the code enforcement today. One from the local neighborhood authority, and then a visit from Palm Beach, and they pretty much shut me down. So I stayed, and that's when Palm Beach showed up about an hour and a half ago. But the day's almost over, so long story short, it is what it is, and I'll talk to you about that later, Jim. The the fuel water set filter is all in. All the plumbing is done. If there's yellow tape on it, hand out of the way, other than this fitting here, that's it's all finished work. So in other words, here's the fuel line coming in, that's connected. Here's the new fuel line coming in. I'm sorry, let me slow down with the camera. I'm bad about getting jumpy. New clamps from Jerry's Marine. Had to do a coupling on that. I don't think you can even see it, but it's a real nice bronze 3/8 inch specialty coupling from Jerry's Marine for fuel line, and that's marine clamps, stainless clamps. So anyway, remote oil assembly. Again, that's the Marine Power system, and even this bracket here, this is Marine Power. That's a Marine Power setup, but the cool thing is my electric fuel pump is going to mount perfectly atop this bracket here and set in this area here, and still have plenty of clearance at the top and the bottom. It's going to set, probably at the pretty much level with the top of the distributor there. Got the push rod in, and this morning assembly lube, torqued it to 40 foot-pounds. Valve cover, rocker covers, torqued back down. I think 14 foot-pounds on that. You don't go very tight on those. I think that's pretty much it. All I got to do now is install the carburetor. I got to install the. There's a bracket, as you know this. We already talked about this. The Marine Power bracket on the back that will install with the carburetor, and that's where the wiring harness, the starter relay, the 50 amp breaker, and the coil, and all that's already mounted into the unit. So basically, all I got to do is set that on and then plug everything up. So pretty long day. It took a while to do that bracket, about 2 hours. Believe it or not, after it was all said and done, it was a freaking nightmare. But it's important because that oil cooler is not going anywhere now. I'll back up a little bit and let you see the engine. It's looking really good. Otherwise, I think I'm gonna shut the video down right there. I don't believe there's anything else to talk about. There's the coupling. On that line, you can't even see the coupler, but that coupler is about, let me step back and measure it. It's probably about that distance right there, which is almost 4 inches. It's probably about 3 3/4, 4 inches long. And again, it's bronze and it's 3/8 inch fuel line, so it's not like there's any restriction in the fuel flow. So anyway, it turned out really good. Here's a view from this side. Everything else is just plug and play. Again, it pissed me off that I couldn't, because I was going to snap the wires on there, and that would have been, one more step visually that would have looked nice, but then again, one more step in the job that would have us that much closer. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but generally I think we were both planning on this job being about a 2 to 3 day job. It's looking like it's going to be more like 5 now, because of just, it is what it is, primarily because of some of these issues, like finding the funky oil in the intake, doing the intake work, doing it properly, and then just a few distractions, and as I call them, walls. You hit a wall here, hit a wall there, but I think it's important that we didn't cut any corners here, and took a little bit longer than we wanted to. I know we're not finished, but we're very close. Maybe 4 to 5 more hours worth of work, and it'll be ready to fire up. So again, the coolant is in it. It's going to need about 1 more gallon, maybe, at the most. If we put a gallon in it and it's low, we can put water in it from there on out, distilled water, because it's going to have close to almost 5 gallons of coolant in it, and that's plenty. Typically they're 4.5 to 5 gallons on a complete change. So, all right, again, I'm going to end the video there, and I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting something, especially for the client. I think that's it. Fuel system, water, oil, electrical. Yep, that's it. All right, thanks guys, appreciate it.